Put everything in the hands of God, because there is no safer, stronger, or surer place for your life, your dreams, your burdens, and your battles to be. When you learn to truly surrender, when you come to that point where you no longer struggle with the weight of trying to carry life on your own shoulders, you will realize that the peace of God surpasses every understanding. Life is full of complexities, uncertainties, and storms that sometimes leave us weary and broken. But the truth remains that no matter how great the storm, no matter how overwhelming the burden, the hands of God are greater. His hands that formed the heavens and the earth, His hands that carved out the mountains and hung the stars in the skies, His hands that uphold the galaxies and keep creation in order, those same hands are able to carry you. To put everything in the hands of God is to release control, to trust His wisdom above your own, to rely on His strength rather than yours, to rest in His perfect plan rather than be tossed about by your own limited understanding. There are moments in life when the human heart wrestles with anxiety, when worry creeps in like an uninvited guest, when fear whispers that everything will fall apart, when doubt questions whether God is truly listening. In those moments, the invitation of God is clear. Cast your cares upon Him, because He cares for you. His care is not partial. His care is not conditional. His care is complete. The God who clothes the lilies of the field and feeds the birds of the air is also mindful of every detail of your life. He is not absent in your troubles. He is not silent in your cries. He is not distant in your pain. He is near. His hands are stretched out, waiting for you to place everything into them. The struggle often lies in the human desire to hold on, to fix things by ourselves, to manage situations with our own strength. But strength fails, wisdom falters, and human effort reaches its limit. Yet, the moment you decide to let go and place it all in His hands, you encounter the beauty of His sufficiency. There is a story of countless saints who have walked this path before us, who chose surrender over self-reliance, who placed everything in God's hands and found that His hands never fail. Abraham put Isaac in the hands of God, trusting that the one who gave the promise was able to fulfill it. Hannah placed Samuel in the hands of God, trusting that the child she longed for belonged more to God than to her. David put his battles in the hands of God, refusing to fight with human weapons, but leaning on the strength of the Lord of hosts. Jesus Himself, on the cross, cried out, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit," showing us the perfect picture of surrender even at the darkest hour. If the Son of God could entrust His very Spirit into the Father's hands, how much more should we place our lives, our burdens, our worries, and our tomorrows in His hands? To put everything in the hands of God is not an act of weakness, but of strength. It is the strength that comes from knowing that God is infinitely wiser than you, more powerful than you, more loving than you could ever imagine. His hands are hands that heal, hands that provide, hands that protect, hands that guide, hands that bless. His hands are never too short to save, never too weak to carry, never too tired to hold. When you put your family in His hands, He covers them with His wings. When you put your future in His hands, He directs your path and orders your steps. When you put your fears in His hands, He replaces them with courage. When you put your tears in His hands, He turns them into joy. When you put your dreams in His hands, He aligns them with His perfect will and makes them bloom in His timing. There is nothing you give into the hands of God that ever gets lost, wasted, or broken beyond repair. He is the restorer, the keeper, the sustainer, the redeemer. Life becomes lighter when you put everything in the hands of God. You are no longer enslaved to worry about what tomorrow holds, because you know who holds tomorrow. You are no longer crushed under the weight of expectations, because you trust that God's plan is greater than yours. You are no longer tossed by fear of failure, because you believe that even in failure, God works things together for your good. There is freedom in surrender, freedom in letting go, freedom in knowing that you do not have to figure it all out, because God already has it figured out. The hands of God are not only capable, but they are also loving. Some people may have handled your life with carelessness. Some situations may have mishandled your trust. But the hands of God will never drop you, never abandon you, never misuse your trust. He holds you as the apple of his eye, engraving your name upon his palm, surrounding you with everlasting love. Putting everything in the hands of God is not just about the big crises of life, but also about the little details. It is about trusting him with your decisions, with your relationships, with your finances, with your career, with your ministry, with your health. It is about waking up in the morning and saying, Lord, I place this day in your hands. Lead me, guide me, protect me, use me. It is about lying down at night with peace, because you know that the one who neither sleeps nor slumbers is watching over you. It is about lifting your heart in prayer and refusing to carry the weight of unanswered questions, because you know that God holds the answers even when you cannot see them yet. It is about choosing faith over fear, trust over anxiety, surrender over control. And yes, surrender is not always easy. The human heart wants to hold on. The flesh wants to dictate outcomes. The mind wants to reason everything out. But faith calls us higher. Faith whispers, "Be still and know that He is God." Faith teaches us to stretch our hands upward and release everything into His hands. Faith believes that God can do far more abundantly above all we ask or think, according to His power that works in us. Faith rests in the promise that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. Faith remembers that His ways are higher than our ways, His thoughts higher than our thoughts. Faith stands on the truth that He who began a good work in us will carry it to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. So put your worries in His hands. That sickness that keeps you awake at night, put it in His hands. That financial burden that weighs heavily on your heart, put it in His hands. That broken relationship you do not know how to fix, put it in His hands. That unanswered prayer you have prayed for years, put it in His hands. That fear of the unknown future, put it in His hands. That mistake from the past that still haunts you, put it in His hands. That child who has gone astray, put them in His hands. That vision that seems delayed, put it in His hands. Everything, yes, everything, belongs in His hands. When you pray, leave it with Him. When you worship, lay it at His feet. When you surrender, don't take it back again. The hands of God are more than able to carry what you cannot carry. Remember that when you put everything in the hands of God, His peace guards your heart. His joy strengthens your soul. His love wraps around you like a shield. His Spirit comforts and leads you. The enemy may try to sow seeds of doubt, whispering that God has forgotten you or that your prayers are in vain. But the truth is firm. God never forgets. His hands are always at work, even when you cannot see. His timing is perfect, even when it feels delayed. His ways are wise, even when they do not make sense. Trust the process of God. Trust the timing of God. Trust the heart of God. Putting everything in His hands is not about seeing immediate results, but about believing in His perfect faithfulness. So today, make the choice to surrender afresh. Whisper to your heart, "Be still, God is in control." Lift your burdens, one by one, and place them in the hands of the Almighty. Picture yourself releasing that heavy load, and see His hands stretched out to take it from you. Feel the weight lift from your soul, and let His peace flow like a river. Remind yourself daily that the safest place for your life is not in your own grip, but in His hands. His hands that bled for you on the cross, His hands that were pierced to redeem you, His hands that rose in victory over death, His hands that now intercede for you at the right hand of the Father. Those are the hands you can trust with everything. Put everything in the hands of God, because He will never fail you. Put everything in His hands, because He loves you with an everlasting love. Put everything in his hands, because he holds your beginning, your present, and your end. Put everything in his hands, because he is able to do what you cannot do. Put everything in his hands, because in his hands, everything will work out for his glory and your good. Let your heart find rest. Let your soul be still. Let your spirit rejoice. For once everything is in his hands, you can live with confidence, walk with peace, and rest in assurance that you are held, always and forever, in the safest hands of all, the hands of God.